Everyone. So you probably just got through watching a video, or maybe you came across this one beforehand. We got another YouTube video I just published, just Azure AD B2C auth code flow Postman, where I walk through and how to do the authorization code grant flow with Azure B2C, troubleshooting your refresh tokens and taking ID tokens and authorization code and getting new ID tokens and refresh tokens, etc., etc. So, but I didn't really walk through on how to actually configure it. So in this video, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. All right. So if you finish this video, you're probably wondering how to get started, how to configure it. So let's go ahead and get you started. First of all, you need to go ahead and pull it into Postman so we can start editing and put in all the configurations. If you go to this YouTube video and click on within the descriptions, you'll get an endpoint. It's like a metadata, but we can import this within Postman. So we'll copy the URL and switch over to Postman. Up here on the import tab, kind of on the left here, we can import. We got a couple different options. We can do a file folder, but we're going to do link. So let's go ahead and copy that link and import. I get this error just because this is mine, and so I'm just going to import it as a copy, but you shouldn't get that error. And you should have this already preloaded in. Something kind of cool if you go to the ... go to edit. You'll see some little descriptions that I put in here for you. We'll be using this URL in a little bit to get that ID token. So again, I pretty much given you there. I will probably most likely add in more information later on after this video and just kind of put steps in and kind of fleshing this out. And I can push it back to that URL, so that works. So just kind of walk through these configurations. You have the endpoint here, so we need to get the name of the tenant, or the default domain name. We'll update there. We need to get the policy name, so I got to generate a policy. We need to get some also policy here. We need to update there. In the body of the posts, we need to get the application ID, which is the client ID. Same thing here, it's the same value. Code, we'll get that in a little bit whenever we run, when we log in. And then of course we need some secret. The second step, same thing. We need to update this variable, which is the same policy ID number. And you have to make sure it's the same, because when we get the ID token, it's scoped for that particular policy ID. The cool thing about it is when we update here, it'll reflect that parameter. I don't know, why is this hating me? All right, cool. And in the body, same thing. So let's go ahead and, I don't know, get some of this data and start plugging it in. First step would be, let's just get the tenant name. So if I log into portal.azure.com, I get my name. This is games and puzzles for this tenant. So it's whatever, foo.onmicrosoft.com. So we want the foo value. So let's go ahead and switch back to this. Type in games and puzzles, and you just replace it whatever yours is. Games and puzzles. We have to configure in two locations, the first policy and then also the second policy. Let me close it out for confusion. Go to step 2, same thing. We'll go ahead and update this one. Let's work left to right, so that way we're not doing rework. Always when I do this, I forget something, so. Next thing is needed some kind of policy ID here, so let's go ahead and grab that. Switch over to the policy, the portal.azure. I need a policy, so let me just click on this framework. I can grab any of these policies. So let's try to find one, or we could just generate one. Let's just do that. Go to username, low. I just forget. So let me just grab this one. This is good enough for me. So let's go ahead and switch over. Insert my policy ID. Oh, I did double. Now, don't forget, if it's an advanced policy, it has that A in there, so don't overlook that. You can see here, this updated here. All right. So I could have changed it here and it would update there, so it doesn't matter. Let's make sure no more policy ID. Let's switch to this other one. Let's see if I update it here, it'll automatically reflect here, which is kind of cool. But make sure you're saving periodically. Postman can be finicky a little bit, so I just like to save every now and then, so in case my thing crashes. So if I look up here, my URL looking pretty good. My parameters, that's good. Look at my parameters over here, make sure that's good. All right, that's good. Let's flip back to the first one. Hold on, does it look good? Yeah, that's good. These are two different endpoints. One gets the ID token and a refresh token based on the authorization code, and this one actually gets a new refresh token from the previous refresh token. So now that we've configured that, let's go ahead and go down the list here. What else we need? We need a client ID, which is the Azure AD B2C application ID. So let's flip over to portal.azure. I need an application. Got a few applications. If I created an application, this would be like the application ID. I created a JOT token. If you want to create your own JOT, JWT, which is just a printout of whatever the token is, you can go add. You can say add, JOT token demo. Doesn't matter. I don't like spaces. And then I believe this is like a web application, and you have to put in a reply URL. So let me grab. I think I put in a little note of the reply URL. Yeah, it should be jwt.ms. Boom. And I can put an additional URI, which I don't think that's required. So let's just boom. So again, created it, application created, boom. I can copy that, which is my application ID, which is linked to the client ID. All right, so they're kind of interchangeably. So go to client ID. Let's paste that in there. Let's also paste it down below as well. That's good. Offline access is I want the refresh token, right? Client ID, client secret. We'll get that in a second. Let's switch over to the second one. We'll update as well as we're going along. Again, nothing to do with the header. Go to the body. This guy right here, client ID. This is what we're gonna update. Again, I like hidden safe between these. Step one. Now the last step I need to get here is the client secret. I need to generate this, which is kind of like a key. Well, it is a key, not kind of like a key. So let's go drill down into my app that I created earlier and then click on keys. I need to generate a new key for the secret and hit save. This will generate the key. Some weird looking key. Copy. And let's throw that into Postman. Wherever it's at. Alright, there it is. Paste my secret. Switch over. Paste my secret. Eventually. There we go. Alright, so there's not a refresh token because I haven't done anything. There's no configuration on that. That looks good. Let's go here. This looks good. This looks good. I don't have an authorization code yet, so that looks good. Remember I said earlier, you've got that URL that when you get the authorization code, this is where this is going to come into place. So let's go ahead and copy this policy ID because I'm pretty sure I need that. And hit the dot, dot, dot. Let's go to edit. And this is where we're going to go in and start updating here. I'm just going to paste this in. I make a lot of mistakes, so I always do copy and then paste it and then edit. That way when I do mess up, I can go back and fix it. So let's go ahead and put in our domain name. Cool. Insert your policy name, which is this guy right here. I probably should have did a better job on that. We'll fix that later. Paste. What? Insert your application ID name. Ooh, I don't remember what that was. Let me end. Oh, actually, I can flip over. Let's do that. It's easier. If I go to properties, there's application name or client ID, whatever. That's what I need. Let's flip back over and paste this. All right, and everything else is good. Make sure you hit update. If not, it won't save any of the work you just did. It's updated. And now we're good to go and start testing here. So where you want to test is you want to go back to this ... go to edit. You need to get the URL here. I tested it earlier and it didn't work, and the reasoning why is, again, I'll fix this before y'all get access to it, but if I had cut off the .client, so it's missing an AND client ID. Power of copy and paste failed me. So this should work now. Again, I'll update this when y'all hit it. This will work fine. So let's go ahead and copy this. I'll update that for later. I need to get the actual, I need to get the authorization code. So I'm gonna hit this endpoint here. When you hit this endpoint, it will, in the URL, it'll provide you an authorization code that you can use later. Just use any of your test users. I've already configured this test user, so it should work, ideally. At the top, we'll have my code. You can see what kind of code. Let's copy that. Let's put that in Notepad++. I want to go ahead and grab my code out. So after the equal, and we're looking for ID token, or you can just put ID _ token. It'll find it for you. It's always take the AND out, right? Because that's depends the message. And of course, copy this code. Now I have the authorization code, I can go and get an ID token. So ideally, I want to pull up Postman next. Go to my first one. Go to body. Go and paste in my code here. Hit send. And it worked first time. Awesome. So it returned a refresh token and an ID token. If I wanted to grab this ID token and read it, I could just copy that ID token, go to your jot token reader, which you can reuse this if you want to just paste that in there. It'll update this, or you can go to jwt.io or whatever it's at and read it. So as you can see, it's readable. But if I want to, again, test the second part, which is getting the refresh token, I'm going to grab this refresh token here, copy it, go to my second one. I'm going to validate that I can continue rinse and repeat. And go to my body, paste that in my refresh token section, fire it off. Voila, I have a new ID token, and they gave me a brand new refresh token. If I want to do this, I can do it all day and keep doing this. I can take my refresh token, copy it, paste it back in here, just a new refresh token, hit send. I got a new ID token, new refresh token, and I can do this as many times as I want for testing. Just to prove to you all this is actual ID token, I can copy this, go back, paste it back here. As you can see, voila, the new refresh token, or the new ID token from the refresh token. So you can see it's pretty easy how to do this. To set it up, hopefully y'all can get it set up pretty easy. And if you have any problems, let me know. I gotta go back and fix some of the Postman after taking this video, and so it should be good to go when y'all hit that endpoint. Cheers.